Bitcoin. I've been avoiding doing a Bitcoin video because it's kind of like, what the hell is happening right now? But we're gonna do it now and actually have some cool stuff to show you today. Um, right, so it's a rainy night in Connecticut right now, and my next stop is Mexico City. I don't know if I'll do another video before then. But yeah, please like and comment and all that stuff. And let's cover what just happened today, and then we'll go check out Bitcoin and see kind of the correlation between, the markets and Bitcoin. Right. So we got a lower tail today on the S&P. It looked brutal about midday. It was like a solid red candle down. It looked terrifying. But all we ended up with was a tail. And so my call that this tail last Thursday was the bottom is wrong. But if this tail is the bottom, I'm still going to take credit because this is my spot. I've had this tag here for like 3 months or something as like the spot where the market's going to bottom out before it even started the bear market. Like I knew where we were going. And it's just kind of an obvious crossover spot. But on the S&P, I do want to point out this this breakout where you're underneath a downtrend line and you break out, right, and then you come down on top. This is something that Bitcoin could definitely do soon, and I just wanted to point that out as that is it's not really a bullish breakout, but when you're coming down on top of the line, that's a bullish area, and you'll usually like tap it once or twice and then go. And so let me do a couple things first. I know somebody, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 months is asking me about TCAT. This is the Takong art, and it was like somewhere in the middle of this thing, and I just said this is an ABC, looks like an ABC wave, right? And I would be interested in this. When it comes to support and breaks out of the downtrend line, I would be interested. And that happened this week, and I just bought some of this. And sorry, I don't remember who asked me about this a while ago, but this is the spot where this looks cool to me, and it's also coinciding with my spot for the S&P to reverse. So this is a really cool stock, but it does not have options, so I just bought, just bought a pile of shares. We'll see how that goes. And I was looking at GVO. I was looking for stocks that kind of still have a bullish chart pattern. This one sort of does, but it's NASDAQ, so we're just going to stay away from that thing. mRNA actually looked sort of interesting. I'll show you that one. As far as bullish, I don't know if anyone wants to see bullish chart setups. Everyone's super bearish, but I'm calling for bullish stuff right now. When I do Bitcoin, I'll show you the bear case first. But yeah, this is not quite to the spot where I was looking, but mRNA was close to a bullish kind of setup. Those are the ones that looked just random stocks. I was just flipping through everything. Those ones looked interesting. And then Arcana Silver was requested, and this got a huge bounce, and I do think silver will bull if gold bulls, because I think we're going into a commodity phase, but and gold looks like it's strong at the moment, so that makes silver a really interesting one that I think could bull hard. And so this is just high risk, just because this is the COVID lows, and this is where it is now. Like, it really, really dumped hard. So I mean, it's a really small junior miner, just high risk. I mean, this could rally hard, but the whole chart is bearish, and so it's just a risky stock. But I just wanted to show it. Yeah, right. So I think we're done looking at the S&P, right? I think the dollar might be a good thing to look at for Bitcoin, and probably treasuries again. But yeah, I mean, we just crossed the channel and jumped on top of our downtrend line. It's a super obvious area to look for a rally, but the momentum is totally bearish. So this is way too early to call a bullish move. Like, nothing is actually doing anything bullish except for the bottoming tails look pretty good still. like if this thing closed down today, that would have looked really bad, but it just threw another tail. So it looks pretty good, actually. Just in general, I think the odds of a rally are still high, but you're rallying through nasty momentum and just like level after level of bearish crap that just happened. So I don't make this call lightly. Like, this is a really aggressive, bold call to say we're just going to rally out of here, which I think we are. Yeah, okay, so let's do the dollar. Where's the dollar? Here we go. Alright, so the dollar I've been calling bullish the whole time, and finally people just started getting bullish on the dollar, and I'm like, this thing's topping out right here. And I think it is topping out just short term, because we just pulled far enough away from my sort of bullish trend line where it should be flagging. I mean, it doesn't need to like crash. I don't even think it's going to do that. I think it's just going to kind of pull back and wobble sideways and probably pull back into support and then probably keep going strong. But this area where the dollar is just kind of flagging, I think we'll probably just get a bull flag on the dollar. But that whole area where the dollar is weak is going to be very good for stocks and Bitcoin. And that's what I expect the dollar to do. And it's just maybe starting to do it. It hasn't happened yet. But it definitely is checked down, trying to decide what it wants to do. Like almost every chart you'll see is at a decision point right now. And treasuries, let's do both of them. So this is the eurodollar futures. Everyone's expecting the Fed to, hike like 4 more times, and I think that they're done hiking right now. Like, everyone's like said they're way too slow hiking, blah 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 blah. Like, no, they're not too slow hiking. Look, there was no reason to hike. The eurodollars were flat at 0. They started turning over. The Fed was like, we're gonna raise rates because they expected it to come down. It came down. They were correct. They changed the rates on time, right on point, like they called it correctly. It's right here. What they're saying about raising rates more later is absolute garbage. I think they're lying to people, like, blatantly. They know we're at resistance, and they know the odds of breaking out of here are low. And if it breaks out of here, they'll just be like, oh yeah, we're raising. If it reverses, they'll be like, oh, we have to do an emergency rate drop, blah, 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 which is going to be hard to explain because everyone's talking about inflation. But the Fed does not dictate the interest rates. The Fed looks at this chart and guesses where it's going to go, and then they just announce where this chart is, and then they, take credit for where it traded. They don't trade this chart, they just look at it. TLT, this is the American Treasury bonds, and that's a super aggressive up. I don't think it's going to make this angle of like an up move right here, but it threw in an uphill W here. That's a bottoming pattern. I think the treasuries are going to reverse here, and I don't think they're going to actually go this strong. I think it'll probably come down and make another low, and this angle will probably be similar to the one that happened over here, but I think we're going to be flagging here on treasuries as well. So I think we'll be bear flagging on treasuries, we'll be bull flagging on the dollar, and I think the interest rates topped out, and they could reverse faster than you think. I mean, if you see how fast they just crossed the chart here, I mean, they can cross the chart right back about that fast. So just heads up on that whole inflation thing, like, that's not actually happening. We have a huge supply and demand, like, mess, and it just switched where now supply is way higher than demand. And we're going to see some stuff people don't expect here this year and probably next year. Right, so let's go look at Bitcoin. Now that you know the fundamentals are ridiculous and kind of different than what everyone's saying for the most part. But Bitcoin, I don't know if I should zoom way out. But anyway, this arc is the giant rainbow arc that's been the top of Bitcoin the whole time. Like, it hits it, it breaks out, it falls back in. This time it hit it twice and fell back in. And now we're in this big bear channel here. But we have the S&P at a reversal point, treasuries at a reversal, dollars at a reversal, and Bitcoin did this thing. This is a neckline sort of break, right? Which should be, this looks like a double top or maybe a weird triple top like neckline break. But look what it did. This is a really weird trading pattern that it just did here. Is it threw a tail, and now it's coiling. You know, it came down a little bit today, but it's just like coiling really hard right under the neckline, which looks like a false breakdown coil to me. Usually when you're going to break a neckline, you do one of two things. One, you just slice it and go, like, and you don't look back, just like shoot straight through and gone. That happens sometimes. More often, you'll slice it and you'll put a down candle like way down, and then you'll come back up and you'll back test it, and then you go down. You don't throw a tail and coil like under the neckline. Like, this is super weird. It's right on a support level. So these kind of coils can break either direction, and so anyone that is trying to enter Bitcoin trade right now is crazy. Crazier than me. I'm not doing that. And I wouldn't probably be so bullish on this chart if I didn't just look at all the other charts. But the other charts are telling me that it's about to be risk on, and I can be wrong about that. Like, if we get two giant red candles, you know, next week, I will completely switch my stance on that. But that was my target the whole time on the S&P for us to reverse. And this was my target the entire time on Bitcoin. Since we were coming down from the top, I know if you've been following my channel, I called this topping area pretty well on Bitcoin, and I was shorting the crap out of Mara. Like, I wasn't shorting. I actually did have a little bit of shorts on like the BITO ETF, but my big trade that I talked about like 20 videos in a row was shorting the crap out of Mara. But when we broke out of the downtrend, I just went cash, and I've just been kind of sitting around. But I'm piling on long positions right now, just stocks and like leaps, like long duration call options. And if we rally, I'm good, and if we start crashing, I'll just go straight back to cash. So I'm just positioning, expecting it to happen, but like, I will close all that stuff if it doesn't happen. Like, we're at a big decision point, and I think we're going to go bullish here. I know everyone is super bearish, and that's another reason why I think it'll go bullish, but yeah, this was my target. This is the neckline and kind of the downtrend. This is just an obvious place where if you go watch my last few Bitcoin videos, I was calling for it to actually break down from here, which I guess could happen. We could flag over to this thing and go down, or we could go down now. But I don't think we're actually going to do that. I think the last Bitcoin video I showed was us just like falling out, doing something like this. And now actually everyone is saying this is going to happen, and now I'm not. Like, that's what I called like 3 months ago. And I think that's going to be an incorrect call now, but it could happen. Yeah, so let me get this ribbon in the right spot and show you what I actually think is going to happen, because I think we're going to get like a 3 or 4 month like rally here. And the fundamentals of why this rally is going to happen, the Fed has not started tightening yet. Like, once they start, like, we've already pulled back a bit, but usually you do like a little volatility right before tightening, which we did a little bit more than a little. We did a lot of kind of crashing before tightening, but with tightening, the market will rally all the way to the end of tightening and then crash. Like, we haven't even started, so the market should be rallying anyways, like tightening, blah, whatever. But everyone's saying there's no money to go into the market right now, and that's not true. The money that can go into the market, if you look at my last video, is a bunch of margin loan that can come right back into this market. The banks have the ability to do that now, and they probably will if we're rallying. And also, there's a bunch of, now all the earnings are over, companies are announcing buybacks. There's a ton of stocks that are going to start doing buybacks, which usually is kind of a gradual increase in the market when companies start doing that. Not like a ripping kind of reversal kind of thing. But that's it, just like margin loans and buybacks, and we've pulled back a good bit here. So even in the bearish case, I mean, you should be expecting some, you know, bear dead cat bouncers or, you know, bull trap rallies. Like, things just don't go straight down. So in any case, I think this is a spot where Bitcoin is likely to rally. Here, let me tighten the ribbon up to the right spot. It moves around when I scale the chart, but it's right there. That's the ribbon. And we blew out of the top of it twice this time. And I would expect we probably don't blow out of the top this time. But if we do get out of here, I think that might be a good spot to look. towards, October, maybe September, November. I think this area around 60 would be where I would be expecting Bitcoin to be topping out again, and that would be like a triple top, a weird triple top with a neck here, like right into this ribbon, the rainbow ribbon. And then the thing that I showed on the S&P at the beginning of this video, which is you push into resistance, right, and then you flip, and then you come down on top of it once or twice, and that's where I think Bitcoin would probably bottom, is you break out of this and then you come down on top of it. And I don't know where that would be, but that's the general bullish case for me, is a rally which would throw maybe the S&P to a double top or an all-time high, and it would throw like materials, miners, minerals, like those kind of things to all-time highs, and the NASDAQ would probably rally weaker. Maybe it would make a double top or something also. That's kind of the idea that I have right now, and we'll see next week. If we start rallying, then these videos will be really good because I covered all of it. And if we start crashing, then ignore them because they're way wrong. But that's my rally whole thesis I've done in like 3 or 4 videos here. And this is kind of the idea with Bitcoin now, although I'm not particularly interested in trading Bitcoin this time, because what's that, 30 to 60, maybe Bitcoin doubles, but it's a ridiculous amount of risk. I think some things like silver, aluminum, like Alcoa, First Majestic, maybe some gold trades. Like I've got Newfound Gold Corp is like a tiny gold exploration company that's really volatile. It has high momentum. I'm trading that. I bought TCAT today just because whatever. I don't think the meme stocks that were hot last year are going to be so hot this year, but TCAT is just at a good spot where I think it's cool. And so is Workhorse. Workhorse, WKHS. This is a general sector that I don't probably love, but this one stock is super high momentum, and it's sort of anti-Tesla. It's their electric delivery trucks, which is not something that Tesla is doing. They're not competing with Tesla, but they're electric vehicles. But they just did a pretty good descending wedge breakout right into this support area. And so if, I don't know, I think if this sector is going to rally, I think Workhorse is a pretty good chart that is easy to trade and could really rally hard. I mean, this could go from 2 to, who knows, double top here, like 40. And you're looking at Bitcoin maybe doubling with a lot nastier risk than something like this, I think. But anyway, in the case of electric vehicles, like other than Tesla, I think Workhorse is one of the few companies that's actually building stuff that is going to work. Anyway, I think this company, this is probably bad timing if we go like into a recession next year. They're pretty small still, but they're just building, these electric delivery vehicles, and they're just starting to get their contracts going and stuff. But anyway, that's another chart that I think is interesting, and it is NASDAQ, and I'm generally avoiding NASDAQ, but I am trading that one. Anyway, that's sort of the risk on thesis and what sectors I think are going to be rallying, and we should find out probably in the next week or two what direction things pick, and it should get pretty interesting. But that's not investment advice, none of that, of course. And yeah, I think that's probably it. I don't know. Is gold still looking good? Yeah, gold held. It's still rallying, so that's interesting. Yeah, I think I'm gonna like gold a little bit, and I think I'm probably gonna like silver here. I think silver is gonna rally. You just get the gold rally with commodities, and silver goes nuts. So like silver miner is really cool. Yeah, even the super tiny like silver miners that look awful like could have huge returns. I mean, I think that's a cool thing. And it just pulled back a little bit. There's another entry on this thing. yeah, cool. Anyway, that's Bitcoin for today, and hope we should get a pretty big move soon. So we'll see what's going on. But the breakdown looks highly suspect to me. It doesn't look like it's actually trying to break down at the moment. It's doing this weird big tail coil thing. Yeah, I'm not buying that, but we'll see what happens. Cheers.